Teenage is that time of life where you are a work in progress. The incidents that happen, or just the basic life process that one goes through during teenage, is crucial in shaping our personalities as an adult. There is very less discussion about teenagers, and even if it is there, it is not done by teenagers themselves. I have started the Edge of Teenage podcast to provide a platform for teenagers to speak their hearts out and tell the world their stories. Well, nobody is accomplished at 20. We may or may not have any achievements in our teen years, but we all have our stories. And I believe we can help people of all ages, whether it be preteens who must know what life they are going to experience in coming years, the adults who can relate with our stories and cherish their beautiful past, and obviously the teenagers who need to know that the life they are living is going to help them grow. Huh. Well, not only physically, the science textbooks will give you a disclaimer on that, but mentally and emotionally. Well, hello everyone. I'm your host Ashutosh, and on this episode of Edge of Teenage, we have a very dear friend of mine, Aman Malhotra, with us, or I must say, amanmalhotra.py. Well, Aman is a programmer, as the name of the episode says, and I'll warn you, he has some very strong views on psychological issues. You can start an argument with him, but you cannot win it. Along with the coding thing, he has an entrepreneurial mindset and would rather concentrate on solutions than on problems, which I personally consider as a very positive mindset. Because entrepreneurs these days, they are more concentrating on trying to be entrepreneurs than finding solutions for real life problems. Well, without any further ado, let's hear from the man himself. Hi, Aman.
Hi everyone,
All right, Aman, tell us about yourself.
I'm currently 18 years old and turning 19 the next month, and I'm currently pursuing BTech in Computer Science from Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College in Ludhiana.
Since like lockdown is going on and you are at home, how's life at home? Tell us about it.
Life at home is pretty normal for me. It is the dream life I ever wanted. I mean, the time I have right now, no university exams, no burdensome of college work, nothing at all, and just time and you can reflect upon something you have been missing for so long, some projects that I have been missing, I'm starting them now, and I'm really enjoying the COVID time.
Guys, did you hear it? This guy is really enjoying his lockdown time. Okay, tell me about something. How did it all of this programming thing started? I mean, what was the spark?
So I remember in my childhood I used to play with computer all the day, installing new versions of Windows, crashing the system, and getting scolded for that was part of my daily routine. And I remember in seventh and eighth class when I was introduced to the HTML through my teacher, that marquee tag, that sliding of text, that made me really inquisitive about how the things are working. And then I got to my brother and he introduced me to the world of programming through Python. I mean, I started practicing it then, and it was pretty amazing. The first course completion that I did, I clearly remember the course was by Zed Shaw. It was pretty basic course, but the most important for programming basics rather than the language basics. And then it all started. I started learning more scripting languages and learned HTML and CSS and made decent web pages when I was in 10th class. And then one day I got introduced to the world of IoT by my friend in school. He introduced me to the Arduino and Raspberry Pi and all those robotic stuff I used to think how things happen. And now I was able to see how things clearly work, the algorithm used behind them, the devices used. And I religiously started practicing Arduino and Raspberry Pi and other electronic stuff and used to visit Instructables and YouTube for general references. And I really enjoyed doing all that stuff.
Not that down, kids. Starting early will definitely put you on a scoreboard. Well, Aman, since you are in an engineering college, you appeared for JEE, right? How did it go? Tell me about it.
I mean, the first time I got introduced to JEE was by my friends and those newspaper headlines stating those crore packages that students score. Because I barely knew about the CTO and salary in hand and other basic stuff. I mean, everyone around me was taking non-medical after getting 10 CGPA. So I too enrolled for the same. I mean, I loved maths and I did enjoy solving problems, but that wasn't too competitive. I mean, I did it all out of pure joy. But soon that joy got vanished or suppressed just because of the peer pressure. Everyone was running for marks, ranks, and that made me hate that subject. So my grades weren't that great and it didn't go pretty well. I mean, I could not score that well to get in a seat into an IIT and had to settle for some private college or any GFIT.
Tell us more about how you prepared for JEE. Like, was it really important for you to crack it or something?
The process was really overwhelming for me. I didn't knew its importance at that time. I mean, now I do respect the process that a child goes through. I mean, that process prepares you for life, and the pressure that you get makes you a tough person. It increases your discipline and sitting capacity, and uninterrupted long hours of continuous studying really improves your discipline. I'd say it's okay if I failed or something, but what was important for me was the learnings I could get after failing from the JE.
Definitely, that are some very good points you made there. But lacks of aspirant, like they dream of getting into the prestigious IITs. Like you too, like them, had this dream of getting into the IITs.
Yes, obviously. I mean, didn't you dreamt of being an IITian someday?
Of course, I did, man. But here we are.
But you know what I think is it was more about that tag of being an IITian than about an opportunity to learn more. We were not told that getting into IIT will open more opportunities, but life set hai IIT mein. Yes, I mean, nobody wanted to go there for being the part of something big, a big organization, being a part of a big research project or something, but to get a job that will pay you work for it anymore. I mean, life isn't that way, the way we are taught.
But when the sand settled and not everyone got into IIT, you didn't get into one. It is really difficult because it really does affects your self-esteem. Tell me about your experience.
I mean, initially, really didn't felt that great. It was really a bad experience. It was like everything is shattered. What will do about it now? How will I survive? It is so much competition outside. But gradually, I came to know what was important for me. I mean, I really wanted to go to IIT for what reasons? I started introspecting myself. And Ashutosh, I had a dream in my fifth or sixth class that I really want a Lamborghini. I mean, everyone does dream of it at that age, but gradually the dreams fades away as the real life or the practical life comes into picture. But for me, I just love that car. I don't know why. And getting into IIT would have gave me a high paying job, but really wouldn't have given me the Lamborghini I really wanted. Means why did I wanted to go into IIT? Maybe because I really wanted to that professors, the education system. But now everything being online, I mean I can get education sitting at home. And second, I could have chosen IIT for networking, but now with LinkedIn being in the picture and other social media platforms, I can connect with anyone I want. And what I really need is the skill. that the industry demands rather than the tag of IIT that everyone dreams of. And those realizations really made me feel of even if I was making a right decision choosing to study for IIT or not, and that really guided me on how should I move forward. And IIT was not the only thing and was not the biggest failures of all time.
Well, those are some very great points you made there. I feel like this episode is going to be an awakening point for the JEE aspirants. Moving on to the next phase, how's life at college? Is it what you hoped for? Is it what you really wanted?
I mean, after the JEE incident, I started introspecting myself. I started watching videos online, entrepreneurial channels, and those tutorials, getting to know about Peter Thiel and his psychology and his hatred for college education. I got to know what college really was teaching us. I mean, I joined college with the feeling that I'd enjoy some time there in my day, have a nice chilled time with my friends, nothing more than that. I mean, Ashutosh, what do you think? Does college's medieval system can be at par at the current trends and current needs of the industry in the tech sector?
Yeah, I
I mean,
totally agree
brother,
with
do
that.
you really think that the colleges are satisfying the industry demands? I mean, the in the sector specifically, the demands change every 2 year. I mean, the new technologies come into the picture, and everyone is learning them. Everyone is trying to get to the industry standards. But colleges, they just aren't making any improvement in the education system. And I mean, as Zuckerberg says, and I'm a great follower of him, that move fast and break things. But do you think the college systems are really doing that thing? I mean, they are far, far, far away from the psychology the multi-billionaires hold today.
Definitely, definitely. I can remember an incident. Yeah, the trainings are going in the summer, and they told us to write the code on paper and click a photo of that and then upload it.
Yeah, actually. And I can say that college is rarely a place where a real engineer or an innovator of the next generation can be made. So for me, going to college was just to enjoy my life as I have missed it in my pre-teens due to my immaturity, I'd say. And I'm really enjoying my life right now, chilling in the college, not studying at all, and just growing in the things and at the pace I really wanted to grow.
Since you have answered the question that this is not what you expected from college, but what exactly were you expecting? Because as moving from school to college is like a real life upgrade.
All the visions I had about how I will going to be spending my time after school changed when I started watching videos. My perspective of life changed. My perspective of how I should spend my post teenage years changed. And that way my expectations from college are like zero only. Now I prefer spending time in market, getting to know what the industries, and really working towards that rather than enjoying and chilling in college. But I do love spending time in college with my friends, but not the part where I study.
Well, that is totally relatable, man. So far, so good. Now, moving on to the next topic, which is relationships. And the question arises, have you ever been in a relationship?
No, until now I haven't been in a relationship.
And why is that? You just couldn't find the right girl, or you're just too busy writing code?
It isn't that way. I mean, I haven't given much of a thought to the idea of relationship. For me, it is something that gives a new meaning to your life. It adds joy, and you two really enjoy being together, sharing your happiness and sharing your life. And I haven't felt that special for anyone until now. I mean, I am open to the idea of relationship, but I haven't found the right girl.
Concentrating on more teenage problems. What has been your experience on the issue of peer pressure? Have you ever felt that you are in some kind of a race?
I initially, as I said, it did severe damages to me, the peer pressure thing. But it isn't that the peer pressure was the problem, but how I was handling it was a problem. I mean, peer pressure is always there. You are in a competitive world, and the top persons are the parameters with which you are judged. And peer pressure is, anyways, everywhere.
Do you consider it to be healthy or toxic? Does it help in an individual's
It
growth?
is the perspective that you have for the peer pressure that really determines if it is helpful to you or not. I mean, for me, initially it was like peer pressure kills me, peer pressure uh, decreases my productivity or something like that. But if you really take it into a positive way, it really tells you who you are. It really tells you what you need to do perfect the next time, or what are the mistakes that you are committing.
Okay, but so what is your current perspective of peer pressure?
Now, as I see through the past, I think that the peer pressure is really important for me, and it really doesn't bother me now. I mean, what I was scared was how the other person is performing, but I shouldn't be bothered about it. What I should be bothered about is how hard can I work? I mean, am I the most hardworking person in the room? Someone may be more knowledgeable than me right now. Someone may have more money than me right now. And someone may have a good head start in the career. But am I the fucking most hardworking person? Can I achieve the things that I really want to achieve in my life? Can I do all the projects, all the checkpoints that I have made in my life, all through hard work? That really determines how am I going to live my life further. And peer pressure rarely does affect if you have that kind of mentality.
Since you talked about hard work, and I feel like hard work is somewhat related with distractions. Let's talk about distractions, because there are really a lot of distractions nowadays, social media being the biggest of them all.
I mean, social media was one of the distractions that really bothered me in initial times. I used to spend a lot of time on Instagram, socializing with people, but I really didn't felt it that productive using Instagram. I kind of regretted wasting my time. So e- eventually tried to stop using it, and it wasn't really difficult for me, and I stopped using Instagram. And now the only active platform I am on is LinkedIn, and it really connects with me. I mean, it was the platform I really needed, and I think it really helps me.
Now, since your family has seen you grow, are they compatible with the pace you are growing? Normally parents are like, बहुत पढ़ लिया बस कर, बहुत काम कर लिया अब थोड़ा आराम कर ले. What has been your experience?
I mean, for me, my family really doesn't bother me much about what am I doing. If I'm talking to a friend, wasting my time, or working all night or something, they just don't say anything to me. Maybe they think that I am responsible enough or big enough to handle my stuff now and know what I am doing with my time right now. And that really helps me to open up and do what I really like doing rather than what anyone needs me to do. I mean, that gives me an open space to grow.
Well, that does add to the support you are having. And now, digging deeper into your work mind, since you are a coder, tell me about the languages what kind of developer you are.
Currently, I'm not into a specific niche of programming like web developing, full stack developer, or in data science or something. Currently, for me, I'm exploring all the stuff that I can get my hands on. May it be web developing, front end developing, or back end developing technologies, or may it be data science, machine learning, deep learning, image processing, or may it be IoT and robotic stuff. I try to learn as much as I can, get my hands dirty with as much stuff as I can, so that after an year or a half, I can get an idea of what I really want to do and in what niche I want to work in.
But I'm still curious, how many languages do you know?
For me, number of languages doesn't really matter. I mean, how deep understanding you have about one language is what really differentiate you from other programmers. I have a decent understanding and I mean, I'm an advanced level Python programmer and I know pretty much many libraries, or I'd say every library of Python, may it be Tkinter, Beautiful Soup, may it be NumPy, Pandas, uh, or OpenCV library for image processing, Python based, I'd say. And another language that I want to expertise in is JavaScript. I'm currently doing the MERN stack, which involves JavaScript libraries like Node.js, Express.js, React.js, and getting my hands dirty with the front end as well as back end technology so that I can be a really good full stack developer in JavaScript language. And I do have decent understanding of C and C++ as well.
Well, this guy really knows more languages at 18 than I'll ever be able to learn in my whole lifetime. But the question I have in mind is like, have you worked on any real projects?
For now, I do some basic real level assignments and projects that help me develop skills for the particular languages. And I have developed some websites, real life working website, but not in an internship or some real life project. I'm still in the time of finding internships, and I am finding internships right now so that I can get my hands on real life projects and get a real life working experience on how to work in a team or something. For because for the past 1 year I've been working alone, not in a team projects, I'd say.
And any recent experience where you got something to learn from others?
Yeah, recently I got enrolled myself in an internship from IIT Kanpur. I mean, I really made a really great decision because the people I'm meeting there are like just amazing, and the networking I'm doing with around them, talking to them, getting to know what they really want to do, getting to know what they are doing currently, and the projects they are working on. And people from diverse background are coming there, and that makes me feel hopeful about where the country is leading. I mean, I got to know about a person that was a chartered accountant and was trying to learn machine learning, and that really changed my perspective of what career you should choose and can you change your career later in life. That was pretty awakening.
What is your routine of work? I mean, how much time do you spend in a day on coding?
I mean, the major missings I had in 11th and 12th that really made me fail was I wasn't consistent enough. So after clearing 12th, the major aim I had was to be consistent enough. And you rightly said the daily routine. I mean, what determines what you will be in 5 years is the daily routine you have and the time you spend on. So I make sure that I spend my daily routine and daily time really well. I mean, I consistently spend around 3 to 4 hours in programming when I go to college, and roughly 7 to 8 hours in learning new stuff when there's a holiday.
There are a lot of programmers in India, but there are also a very great amount of programmers on an international level. They are super great, I must say. Do you feel how we can correlate with them and compare with them, you know.
I mean, Ashutosh, you yourself said super great for the global programmers and great for Indian programmers. And we really, everyone does know the reality. I mean, let's just go to basics. Why do someone choose engineering in India? Maybe he's getting 10 CGPA, or maybe he has to choose programming, or I'd say engineering in his life. And that's how an engineer is made. And talking about a computer science graduate, who are the computer science graduates? That gets the most marks in PCM that rarely has any connection with computer science. I mean, talking that way, do you really think we choose our career out of passion or but due to peer pressure or something like that? Globally, everyone chooses to be a programmer because they want to be a programmer or they are so much interested in building new stuff. And that's how they get so much passionate about creating so much technological disruptions in the world, like the Google guys, the Facebook guy, and the Uber, every startup. I mean, in India, we mostly have copied those startups, but the real technological disruptions were the ones that were created in Silicon Valley or the currently up growing market in startups like Israel or in Russia. So we really need to clear up the our basics and work on why someone chooses a career in India. And that will really improve the level of technical skills the people of India will have.
I definitely second you on that. I mean, the system is whole fucked up. And when we talk about, you know, look at the basics. The authorities will first ask you how much marks you have, and then they will give you, you know, you get this computer engineering, you get electrical engineering. They, they feel like this is some kind of auction, you know, you give some more marks and we'll give you the best type of engineering, you know. And that just is very fucked up.
And Ashutosh, considering computer science to be the best type of engineering, I just don't agree with that. I mean, how can you say computer science is the best thing you can do in engineering just because of the package you get? Or out of passion you chose computer science engineering or mechanical engineering? I mean, we have to really dig down upon the problem, the serious problem Indian education system have, that is really deteriorating the skills the Indians are having right now or will have in the future.
Absolutely, this country really needs some change from the pure basic levels. And you know, just moving past this, because we don't have any control here, what keeps you going on, you know, what motivates you to just complete that project?
I mean, the deadline keeps me going on to complete that project. Just joking. You know, the sense of accomplishment you get after completing something, that have been my driving force for last 1.5 year. I mean, I just love completing stuff. I just love completing books, reading through them. I just love completing a project. I just love completing a course, and that really drives me into learning new things, completing new courses, and learning new stuff.
Well, that is something we can truly appreciate. My next question to you is, what hobbies do you have except programming? What do you do when you need to get your mind off the work?
You know, I really need my mind and my eyes off the screen for some time in the day, and for that time, I really like reading books and going on my terrace. I do have a garden there. I just love spending time there in the evening, or I prefer reading a book that really helps me being motivated all the time, and that really helps me be precise with my vision.
Yes, we all need some break, you know, from work. But do you agree that getting into consistently working and just doing your thing at this age helps in developing a work ethic in your personality long before you are an adult.
I mean, age is just a number. I've seen many startups being produced by children younger than me, and they do have work ethics really, really better than me. I mean, work ethics is something inculcated in us in childhood, and it should be a part of school learning to develop work ethics. You know, the books I've read, the one thing that I got to know about is the work ethics you have determines the work ethics your organization will have. I mean, if you really are a person who wants to develop an organization or wants to impact, create impact in the world, then work ethics is the most important thing you should work on. Work ethics will determine how what you will be in future. Work ethics will determine how much task you get accomplished in a day. Work ethics will determine how much you get done in an year and how many goals you achieve in an year. And I mean, the pace you have when you have a productive day is very, very, very large than the pace you have on an unproductive day and the number of tasks you accomplish.
Since we are talking about work ethic and considering this current situation, I would like you to make a choice between working from home and working from office.
I mean, the COVID period really made us rethink of why we were even going to the offices to work. Now, as everyone is forced to stay at home and work from home, everyone is really enjoying the time working from home. I mean, most of the organization considering Twitter or Facebook, everyone considering sending their employees home so that they can work from home, and employees too enjoy working from home, being with their family, and they don't have to face those long traffic jams, and they really enjoy it. I mean, yeah, it is better than working in offices, but we should really consider having a proper setup while working from home, as mostly people try to sit on the bed and work, but that really decreases productivity. I mean, having a proper setup, a separate screen, a table, a basic table and a chair really, really improves the productivity. What more you can do is have a separate room where you can work. Not you have to work in bedroom, as constant distractions will decrease your productivity as well. But some companies do prefer calling their employees in the office, and I really respect whatever vision a company has for their employees and how they want their employees to work.
Absolutely, I too feel that working from home is the new normal. Now, what I want to ask you next is like, what is your advice to the upcoming teenagers who want to become software engineers?
I mean, the basic advice I would give them is to just try everything out right now. Just don't label yourself as a web developer or an ML enthusiast or a tech enthusiast. Just try to do everything possible. Try to find out what intrigues you more, what you are more innovative at, or what you can just be enjoy working at, and then just start working on it, start exploring that niche, and start buying more courses, getting to the industry standards, working with the people around you, getting into talking to them, networking with them, and I'd say going to the events and keeping up with the industry needs.
Note that down, kids. Explore before you get a cranky job. Well, that is it. Thank you so much, Aman, for being with me on this podcast. This was a great talk, and I have certainly learned more about you and how programmers in general think and work. Thank you guys for listening, and we will meet again with a new guest next week on this podcast, Edge of Teenage. You can follow me on my Instagram and LinkedIn. Signing out, Ashutosh.